So yeah, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
when I saw like, I was looking at your LinkedIn profile and I saw like, oh, that you worked like in Greenwich, like the greater like New York area. And I was like, oh, wow, like that's crazy. And the
Yeah.
craziest thing is like this. So I think like actually a year ago, I was trying to sell like CBD, like skincare products. And
Mm-hmm.
one of my ideas, it never worked out anyway, never worked out. One of my ideas was to, hit up like skincare specialists and whatnot, right? And I
Uh-huh.
think one of the connections that you had, like, was one of the people that I hit up, right? And it was
That's
just
so
like,
funny.
I was like,
I
oh
wonder
wow,
who it
like this.
was. Do you
I
remember
forgot
their
the.
name?
To be honest, I forgot the name, but the whole idea was like, okay, I was gonna hit them up, and I was gonna
Uh-huh.
have like them like provide like a short like series or a short video on Instagram. People will
Mm-hmm.
submit their questions, and they'll like basically talk about skincare and overall. But that never worked out because no one like hit me back up, and I wasn't passionate about skincare, so I was like, okay, that was done. That was it.
Yeah. Oh, that's so weird though. So funny.
Yeah.
Such a
Wait, so
small world.
how many years? So you were born and raised in like the Fairfield County area?
Uh-huh. I lived my whole life there until like a year and a half ago.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Like,
So
do you
I'm
come back often?
um like Christmas. I was back in
Okay.
July. Just like every so often with the pandemic, like I was supposed
Yeah.
to be back February, March, and April for like my friend was getting married. And I had to like everything was canceled. So it's been kind of weird, but probably
Hmm.
will come home like for Christmas.
Yeah. I was gonna say like now like Norwalk, Stanford, like all those areas are getting really like developed now.
Oh,
You know?
really?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I see my sister like going out every weekend and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Then I know like over here, like in Connecticut, Fairfield County area, the rent is just crazy high. You know.
mhm. Yeah, everyone's trying to get out of the city too. It's like a nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
It's a hot
So yeah.
mess.
Yeah. So like how did you kind of like get into like real estate, becoming a realtor? Like how was that? Like what were like the steps becoming one?
So it all kind of starts like 5 years ago, actually. I was 21. I was in nursing school at St. Vincent's, and I needed like a summer job. So my aunt was a realtor in Rye, New York at Houlihan Lawrence, and she was just, offering me a summer job there. They needed an admin. So I said, okay, let's do it. Like, let me work in a real estate office. And so I applied, I got the job, obviously, and I started working in this real estate office while I was in school, just kind of, working, getting money.
Mm-hmm.
And then I worked there for a couple of years. I really loved it. And then since I was in nursing school, I ended up, why can't I think of my words? I ended up applying to work at a dermatology office to get my foot in the door because I thought nursing was going to be like my whole life, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And so then I get this job at the dermatology office and I quit the real estate office because I couldn't do a million things. And then I started doing network marketing. So this all ties together, I promise.
I know ours.
So I'd start my network marketing, blah, blah, blah. Like fast forward a couple years, it's like 2017. My network marketing business really took off. So I joined It Works. Don't know if you've ever heard of it. It's like a health, wellness, beauty company. And so in 2017, it really took off. I just started doing really well, started making really good money. And I quit my job like 10 days before Christmas and haven't worked since then. So all of 2018, I did network marketing. Then we moved in 2019. And that's when I started getting my real estate license here because I was doing so well with like making money from my phone. It's a good way to meet people. I love looking at houses, and my boyfriend honestly wanted me to have like a real career.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, okay, I'll get my real estate license because I ended up, see, I kind of forgot this part. I dropped out of nursing school like 8 months before my graduation. Sorry, I
Eight
don't know why
months.
I'm like so unorganized right now with my
No, that's cool. I like it.
storytelling.
I like. Don't worry. Don't worry. Wait, hold up. So
I'm like
like
up and down.
when you quit nursing school, like how was your family? Like how did they take it?
Um, Honestly, it was such a hard decision because I had failed one of my nursing classes in 2017. So I had 1 year gap between like when I could go back to school, because they only offered in nursing school, they only offer certain classes, certain semesters. So if you fail one semester, you're pushed back a whole year, because just the way St. V's was such a small school that they only offered one class per semester, and like you had to take it in that order. So failed a class in 2017. So I had to work for like a year to make as much money as I could to stay productive during that year. So sorry, I don't know why I keep losing my train of thought. I'm all over the map today.
That's cool.
So I started working, and I was doing my network marketing, and then my network marketing business really just like boomed in 2017. And so I was unhappy working my job, and I didn't want to work while going to school again, because I knew like my focus wasn't fully at school. So because I was making so much money from my phone, I was able to quit my job, go back to school, took that class over. I passed it. And then in the fall of 2018, so I had 2 semesters left until I was supposed to graduate. So I was graduating in May 2019. And in September, I just was so miserable going to school, going to my clinicals. I did not want to wake up at 6 a.m. and go to the hospital and just like wipe patients' butts. Like I hated
Wait, did you imagine that? Like when you, before becoming a nurse, or before like thinking about being a nurse, like did you kind of imagine that work schedule, that life? Or like once you were there, like it kind of hit you and you're like, okay, this is not what I expected, I'm out.
I mean, I did expect it. I knew that nurses, they work like 12-hour shifts in the hospital, or, you know, unless you get a 9-to-5 job at a doctor's office. But like, I knew kind of what I was getting into, but I can't do blood. Like, I don't know why I decided to go to nursing school. Like I used to faint at the office that I worked at. It was so bad.
Every time I get my blood drawn, I like, it's the second time I fainted. I haven't done blood work since. To be honest, I'm too afraid. I don't blame you.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
I'm the same way. If someone's like, oh, you're bleeding, I'm like, oh God, I'm going down.
Like what's weird is like in the movies, I can see like someone's like head being like cut open. But like if I see like a needle going into someone's arm, I just can't see that. There's certain things I can't see. You know, but I can see some gory stuff, but like just seeing blood come out of my arm, I don't know. I'm out.
I get that. Yeah. I'm literally kind of the same, like with myself, at least. Like if I'm it's so gross. Like if I'm bleeding, it's so bad. But I used to be able to like inject people with like numbing medicine, and like that didn't faze me. So when I did it, it was fine. But watching the doctors do it, I was like, oh no, I gotta go. I'm leaving. Yeah. So I don't know. I realized that blood didn't fit well. You know, it wasn't for me. Nursing, I like taking care of people, I guess, but not like random people. As bad as that sounds, it just was not for me. I'd rather just like take care of my family. So it was a hard decision for me to make, to drop out of school, because I had my boyfriend and my mom and my dad and my brother and my sister. Like everybody was just like, "Ooh, you're finally going to graduate," because I transferred every single year of college. Like I went to a different school every single year, and all my friends had graduated, and I'm like in my 6th year of college, like just going to college forever. And so I didn't want to let anyone down. And at the end of the day, I had to do what was best for me. And I was so miserable. Like I could not do that anymore. So I just told my mom, because my mom was probably the person I didn't want to let down the most. And she was just like, it's fine. You know, you have to do what's best for you. And my dad's an entrepreneur, so he understands. He's like, just do it. Do whatever you have to do. Like, I don't care. I don't care if you go to school. I don't care if you graduate. Just do something and make money. So that's what I did. And then I guess just moving to Dallas. So we moved to Dallas in April of 2019, and I started getting my real estate license. I started my courses in June of 2019, just because, like I said, my boyfriend wanted me to have like a real career. And just, it's a good way to meet people. Sorry, I had like a notification.
That's okay.
It's a good way to meet people. I love looking at real estate. I love houses, and I get to help people just in a different capacity. It's not like, you know, treating people at a hospital. It's helping people find their dream homes, or, you know, whatever other reason people buy houses.
Wait, just going back. So what was your company? Like you said, it was called It Works, and it was networking marketing. So did you join a team, or was it something that you kind of did on your own?
Yeah, so I joined a team. I saw a girl who was living in Shelton, Connecticut. So she was literally living in the town next to me growing up. And I actually knew her boyfriend in high school because I also went to St. Joe's my freshman year. I'm all over the place, as you can tell. So like I knew him through mutual friends. And so this girl was posting about making all this money from her phone. And so I texted her after I saw her post and I was like, okay, what is this? And I signed up like right away. And my 5-year anniversary is actually in about 3 weeks. So
Oh, congrats.
thank you. It's been 5 years of just like craziness and madness, but it's been amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I met some of my best friends, make a lot of money. So, you know.
Wait, so what is like the networking business model? Like, what is that exactly?
It's
What do you
basically
do?
like a pyramid scheme, I would say, but it's legal. So it's
Mm-hmm.
not, a scam. So basically the majority of our money is made off of our team and like what they're selling, and also recruiting, but it's kind of like split even. Like you have to recruit and you also have to sell products. So I
All
can't
right.
make money. I can make money by selling products, but I'm not going to make that much. And I can make money by recruiting my team, but I'm not going to make that much. So you have to do both. So we sell products on Instagram, Facebook, just all social media. And then I recruit people to join my team. People who want to make money from their phones, that's really it.
Wait, so
People
like
who
do
want to make
brands kind
extra
of like
money.
do like brands like so I think from that business, that networking marketing team, was it just based off what type of products? Was it like a specific niche or what?
So we have like health, wellness, beauty products. We have a lot of
Okay.
weight loss stuff, skincare, um, just overall like health, wellness, detox, the whole bit, everything. We have like our biggest thing is skinny coffee. So we have keto coffee, we have skinny brew, a skinny tea now, keto tea. I'm trying to think. We have like a million products,
And so
and
each
they're
of your
always
team
coming out with
members,
new ones.
they're like responsible for basically increasing the sales or recruiting, right?
Yeah, so you do both. So I teach my team. The first thing I teach them to do is to grow. First thing I teach them to do is to get 6 customers, and then I teach them how to start growing their teams and recruiting people. And then I'm gonna teach them how to teach their teams to enroll their 6 customers and then
I
grow their
see.
teams and so on and so forth. So by them being successful and them enrolling customers and distributors, that's how I
Mm-hmm.
become successful.
Well, now how do you sell? Like, is it under like one brand name and you kind of like are trying to like market through
Yeah, so
social media?
so basically I work, I guess, for It Works. So instead of the company like paying celebrities to endorse them or other stuff, like they pay us to
Oh, I
promote
see.
the products on Instagrams and any social
Okay.
media. And then we have this compensation plan that, the more you sell, the more you recruit, the more ranks you can hit and so
I
on. And
see.
then you can make all the money.
So you sold it through your own like personal brand, right?
Yeah, like I use my
Okay, now that makes
Instagram,
sense. Okay, that
Facebook,
makes sense.
the whole bit.
Okay, because I thought it was just like you had to use their platforms to sell it, but no, you're utilizing your own social media and promoting it and hiring it or hiring people on
Yes.
your own. Okay, that makes sense
Mm-hmm.
now.
Yeah, so like I have a team under me that I've built and I've taught them to build teams. So like it's just basically like a big
Yeah.
pyramid,
And
but
now
a
like
legal pyramid.
how do you even like sell things? Like I feel like whenever you sell something, either you need like a large audience in a specific social media platform or you do like ads. Now in your case you use your personal brand and I
Mm-hmm.
think you have like around at this moment like over like 10,000 followers, right? So
Yeah.
like how did you kind of like grow your follower base? And then like did you also utilize like ads to sell the products?
I didn't use any ads. That's just not really what we do. I was never taught that
Okay.
because why pay for marketing when we could do it ourselves? So I actually started with like 700 followers. I did not have a lot. Sorry, I keep getting notifications. I did not have a lot of followers when I started. And I just built my following by posting content that people want to see and interacting with people. I used to follow a ton of people every single day and they would follow me back. And it's just like a cycle of following people and unfollowing people. And then I started to do giveaways with like bloggers and, accounts like that do, they give away like
Yeah.
$500 or something. And it's like a follow train. So I would do that. And yeah, I would just grow. I mean, over the last 5 years, I've grown my account to where I'm at now, which is, I think, like 12,500 followers.
Yeah.
It's a
So
lot, but
now that you had like the experience with like selling things, you kind of utilized or basically brought those skills forward to real estate, right? But now real estate is a bit
yes.
more different because now there's more of like a human element to it, right?
Yes, because everything like with It Works is like I don't call people, I don't talk to people in person. It's all literally via text message, Instagram DM, Facebook DM. So real estate has been, I don't think it's as big of a shock to me as it is to people like, say, a teacher coming from, the teaching world into this entrepreneurial world. It's not as big of a shock to me because I already know how to be my own boss, how to create my own schedule and, do what I need to do. But it's just different in the fact that I have to actually like go meet people and talk to people in person and like call people. It's like, what? I can't just text you. And I'm not dealing with only people, in my age range. Like I'm dealing with like 60-year-olds and I'm dealing with like 20-year-olds. So there's a huge range of people who, I work with. Kind of just, I don't know, it's just very different from It Works, I guess. But I'm still selling stuff. But it's more like I will never convince a buyer to buy a home if it's not right for them. It's not right for them. Whereas with a product like keto coffee or something, it's like a $30 product, not a $500,000 purchase. It's a little easier to be like, hey, yeah, you need this coffee, add it on, drink it every morning. Versus like, do you need this $500 house? Oh, you don't like that room? Okay, well, you shouldn't buy it then. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So like when you kind of like market your products, it's more of like an impulse buy, right?
Yes, for sure.
Okay.
It's like people who, they just see me drinking my keto coffee every single day and they're like, oh, hey, I want to try that. And it's like Amazon. Like, they just order it like that. Whereas real estate, you work with these people for like months and months and sometimes even years, I'm sure. I am not that far in, but takes a little longer for people to buy real estate.
Yeah. So now so you said you're living in Fairfield County like all your life. Now, did you move to Dallas because your boyfriend lived there, or was it just something completely out of the box that you wanted to move somewhere else?
So he used to live here like 5 years ago. He did the GE rotation program.
Okay.
So, and then he moved back to Connecticut and that's when I met him. But he had always wanted to move back to Dallas. He had a ton of friends here. And for some odd reason, I always wanted to live in Texas. So one day we just were like, we're moving to Dallas when our lease ends. And so we flew here last March. We spent a weekend looking at houses. Didn't find anything that we liked. So we actually signed a lease sight unseen. And then about a month later, we were moving. We just picked up and moved. It's crazy.
No, wait. I've only been to Texas once. I went to Austin and San Antonio, and those places were extremely, extremely cool. I haven't been to Dallas. Like, how do you see Dallas? It's like a really cool, vibrant city. Like
Dallas is, I think, a million times better than Austin. I think
really?
it's a million. Yeah, I don't like Austin that much. I'm gonna give it another shot. But we went there for my birthday last year, and I think we stayed in the wrong area. And we know that because now my boyfriend, he travels for work and he was working in Austin for a while. So he got to know where to go, know the restaurants, the bars, everything. And so we definitely did not go to the right side of the city. We were on the absolute wrong side where all the homeless people were. And so I just was not thrilled. Yeah. And so I was like, okay, we'll have to give it another weekend. We'll try it again. We'll do it right. And then we'll see if I like it. But Dallas is just like, I just love it. It's so much better.
Is it like an underrated city? Because I don't really hear too much people talking about it. Everyone talks about, of course, LA, New York, Austin now.
Really?
But like Dallas is like, from what I hear, at least from my perspective, I feel like Dallas is like a really underrated city.
I mean, I think it's popular because I maybe because I live here. But it kind of reminds, so the reason I decided that I liked it here enough to move here was because there's this area called Highland Park, and it's just like this very well-known, high-end, like just gorgeous, gorgeous area of Dallas in the city, really good schools, like just so amazing. And it reminds me of Greenwich Ave. Have you ever been on Greenwich Avenue in
Yeah.
Greenwich?
Yeah.
Okay, it reminds me of Greenwich Avenue. Like there's a Chanel store and just all the high-end
Oh
brands.
yeah, yeah,
And I
yeah.
was like, just walking down, I was like, oh my God, like I'm home. Like this reminds me of like growing up in
Yeah.
Connecticut, like you know how it is in Connecticut.
Hmm.
So it kind of reminded me of Connecticut. But Dallas is just its own, it's amazing. So much better than every other city in Texas.
And now, were you used to
um,
the cold in Connecticut, or like, do you enjoy it?
ugh,
Because I never got used to it. I still can't get used to the cold. I hate it, and like, I
I
just want to
hate
move
the
somewhere where
cold.
it's like really warm, and like in Dallas, it's warm year round, right?
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, I think I wore my winter coat for like a month last year, maybe not even like we went to the farmers market last October. I think it was October or November. And I wanted it to be cold because I wanted to wear this like new fur vest that I had. And I had this like cute sweater on and this fur vest and it was like 70 degrees and I'm like where is fall, like I was melting. But then like
Hmm.
I literally probably went and sat by the pool a week later, so I was like okay, I'm glad it's 80 degrees out because I love the pool. Although one day this year, actually I think it was January or February, it started to flurry. Everyone spazzed out because no one here knows how to drive in the
Oh yeah.
snow. I'm like, give me a foot of snow. I will drive through that. But these flurries, everybody's like, oh my God, we're
Hmm.
going to die. And it was just
Yeah.
stupid, but it's funny.
Oh yeah. In Connecticut, once it snows, and like it'll melt almost immediately
Brutal.
nowadays. But yeah, the slush and the black ice is like,
Ugh,
okay, you gotta watch out for that.
I don't miss that. Not at all.
Nah,
It does
I
not
do.
get that cold here. We'll get snow maybe like once a year. And like I said, it was like flurries.
Hmm.
I barely really have to wear my winter jacket. But now in the winter, it becomes 50 degrees and I'm freezing. Like, I don't know how I lived in, I don't know, 10-degree weather for my
Yeah.
whole life. It's
And now,
crazy.
like in Dallas, like now comparing like real estate from comparing like Dallas to like Fairfield County. So I know Fairfield County has one of the highest uh like rental properties or the highest rents in the United States. I think like top 10, right? I think I saw it from
Mm-hmm.
like a Yahoo article and whatnot. Now a lot of people are like flocking to Texas, because you can get a $2,000 like a month apartment, a much nicer one in Dallas compared to like Fairfield County. You can get
Yes.
a lot more space. And I think that's why people are kind of deciding, oh, I want to move out the city, move out from New York, move
Mm-hmm.
out from LA, and move somewhere else where it's more affordable and I can get a lot
Yep.
more space. Now, like,
Yeah.
now when you work with like as a realtor, now I know the rental properties and all the houses in Connecticut are much more expensive, I
Mm-hmm.
think. But like in terms of like commissions, like how do the commissions work exactly? Do you think you would get more in Dallas or more in Connecticut? Because I know there's a lot more like real estate agents in like the greater New York area.
I feel like it just kind of depends. Like I think I would probably make this maybe the same money, maybe more in Connecticut just because the houses are at a higher price point. But
Mm-hmm.
here I think I will sell a lot more houses. Like I'll have more buyers. If like I there are probably so many first time home buyers here that I'm able to help versus Connecticut, like people my age and like a little bit older, like I would never be able to afford a home in Connecticut this year. Like we're in the process of buying right now and it's I mean, the houses that we're looking at are insane and they would be 800,000, 900,000, $1 million in Connecticut. So like that would never be a thing. So I think that if I were an agent in Connecticut that, um, yeah, I might make more money per transaction, but they would probably be fewer and far between versus here. Like I can do $1 million transaction one day and then I could have like a $200,000 transaction the next and it's like normal. You know what I mean? Does that make
Yeah,
sense?
yeah, yeah.
I'll just do more deals here. Or
Now
so
to
I
bring it back
think.
like a step, so you move to Dallas, you get like your license, and now you become an actual realtor, right?
Yes. Sorry, my
Now,
20% battery thing just popped up.
oh yeah, that's cool.
Sorry. Okay, sorry. Can you repeat that for 1 second?
No, I was gonna, yeah. So like you moved to Dallas, and now you
Mm-hmm.
have your realtor license, right? Like how long did it take
Yep.
you to get that?
So in Texas, you need 180 credits, which is it equates to sorry, people, whoopsie. I'm sorry. Someone just called me.
Oh yeah.
But in Texas, you need 180 hours, which equates to 6 courses at 30 credits each or whatever. So I had to take 6 classes. And so I started last June, so June of 2019. And I kind of just like, I wasn't really that serious about it, to be honest, when I first was starting. Like, yeah, it was cool. It was fun. But I was like, it's 6 classes that I have to take. Like, this is so much. Like I don't want to do that. Yeah. And although it was like interesting, it was kind of boring. And I did all my classes online though. So it was kind of at my own pace. Like what I ended up doing was it took me 8 months because I got my license in February of this year. So it literally took me 8 months to get my license, 9 months, 8 months, 7, somewhere around that. Just because I was so like, nah, whatever. Like, who cares if I get my license or not? And so
I think we're cutting off a little bit. Can you still hear me?
where did you pause it? Like, what was I saying? Sorry.
No, we were talking about like you were 7. It took you 7, 8, 9 months to get your license.
Okay. So yeah, it took me just because I was kind of being like so slow. Like I didn't really care if I got it. So I took my first class, finished that within like a month or two. And then I started my second one, did not finish it, I think.
Okay.
And at that point we were like starting to look for a house. And so we were using a real estate agent, and I was like, this is so stupid. Like I could just be our real estate agent. Like we shouldn't buy a house and someone else get the commission. Like I should get our commission on our house. So I kind of started taking it a little more seriously, but also like I didn't really. And it wasn't until I think like January. And honestly, my boyfriend said something to me that just pissed me off. And I was like, screw you, I'm finishing my real estate license. And like, I finished my classes within like a week, all of them. I don't know how, but I just finished them all.
So you weren't really like down with like real estate. You were just kind of like going with the flow, you know, you weren't really taking it seriously.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of like the turning point when your boyfriend said something kind of made you angry and you're like, you know, let me just do this.
Yes, but also like that didn't even, you have to take your state and your national exams in order to be an agent. So there's like a 2-week waiting period-ish where you have to submit your application to, at least in Texas, I had to submit my application to like the Texas Real Estate Commission, and they had to approve me. I had to get my fingerprints, my background checks, like the whole bit before they like check me off and say, yeah, go take your test. So I did all that. I applied, I paid all the money. I did my fingerprints, and I was just waiting for them to give me the green light. So they gave me the green light in probably the end of January-ish. And then I scheduled my exam for February 19th. And I was not on it. I swear to God, I was not going to take my exam when I took it. Like I was planning on rescheduling it, and they give you like a 1 week. So if a week like before your exam hits, like say you're taking your test on a Wednesday, the Wednesday before it comes, and you're like, oh, let me reschedule it, I'm not ready, you can reschedule it for free. So I kind of forgot about that. And so it's like the Saturday before, and I'm pretty sure my test was on a Wednesday. And I'm like, oh, I can't reschedule. Like, I guess I'm taking it. I didn't start studying until that Saturday. And like, I honestly didn't start studying because I wasn't planning on taking it. And then all of a sudden I take my test and I just passed it. And then I was like, okay, I guess I'm a realtor now. So here we go. And so I joined my old brokerage and started working the day I got my license.
Well, hold up. So once you how did that work? So you take your classes, you pass the exam. Now, how do you get a job like immediately? Is it under like one umbrella of like a company or the brokerage that you're working under kind of like applies that or gives you all these resources to take the classes, take the exam, and then once you're through, they give you a job? Is that how it works?
So no, well, at least that's not how it worked for me. I'm sure like if I was working there, then that's probably how it would have worked. But basically, when you're taking your courses, you want to for anybody who might be getting their real estate license, you want to interview brokerages like when you're almost done with your courses, and you want to find out what this commission split is and how much it is each month to be a realtor there and what resources they're going to give you, and you just basically find the best brokerage for you. And so I interviewed maybe 2 or 3 brokerages, and then I found the one that I wanted to work at the time. And I told them like, okay, like they essentially like write you an offer and they say, yeah, we would love for you to be an agent here, blah, blah, blah. You sign the offer letter. And then once you pass your test, you bring your like paper that says you passed to your brokerage. And then they get you all onboarded. And I had to go pay all my association fees. So I joined the National Association of Realtors, the Texas Association of Realtors, my MLS. Like I paid so much money that day. It was rough, but
it's all
so
necessary though. All those
what?
certifications, is that like very necessary? Like all those certifications?
They're like just associations, and
Okay.
I mean, I was told to join them, so I did, and I think that they are crucial. Like the MLS, you definitely have to join because that's where we see all the houses, like agents go on and see all the houses that are coming soon and all the houses that have sold and just all the history of like every house ever. So you definitely have to do that. The National Association of Realtors, oh, I have to sneeze.
I bless you in advance.
Sorry. Okay. So the National Association of Realtors is completely like up to you, but and I know this is like a question that you had written in the email to me. It's what separates a real estate agent from a realtor. So a real estate agent is just anyone who takes their licensing exam, passes the test, that you're now a real estate agent. Mm-hmm. But in order to be a realtor, you have to join the National Association of Realtors. You pay your dues. And basically we have to follow like their standards and their code of ethics. And basically like realtors are held to a higher standard than real estate agents are. So I basically pay to have my name say Danielle Mignone Realtor.
Oh, I see.
And if I didn't, so if I didn't sign up at the National Association of Realtors, then I would only be a real estate agent. But I am a real estate agent and a realtor.
Okay, so you're both then.
Yeah.
But other incentives, because like I know if like any other job, you can join like other groups where like you kind of pay for like incentives. For example, there can be like networking events, like you can join like a club, for example. Like there's like a lot of incentives for like paying like a monthly fee, you know. So I don't know how it is with in your case.
Yes. So I'm actually going to pull up their website because I don't know all the benefits that I get, but I know I get a ton of benefits. I know like I get to use Zip Forms, which is, it's like DocuSign, like an online signature thing. So I get that for free, which is kind of nice because those things can add up. Let me see if I can membership benefits. Let's see. Just like
so wait. So you think like in general, like if you were to have the option, or for any new person who wants to go into real estate, would you advise them to go to become a realtor or to become a real estate agent? Because I think with the realtor, like there's so much more logistics, a lot more paperwork to file and whatnot, right?
I don't remember what the paperwork was like, but I do remember it cost me a lot of money. So the price, like you have to pay for it, obviously. And I have to pay every single year, or I don't know if it's quarterly, I forget. They just come out of my bank account. But I definitely recommend if you're getting your real estate license, absolutely become a realtor. Sign up at the National Association of Realtors. I just think that I just need to use this as an example. Like if someone's selling your house and you're going on a listing presentation and it's me, someone who's a realtor versus just a plain Jane real estate agent, they might go with me because of the fact that I have this extra, like, it's not a certification, but it's this extra thing that I essentially like went through to make myself like more.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I can't think of the exact word that I want to use, but
I just seem more legit to someone because I have this extra, I'm held to a higher standard. Like there's an additional code of ethics that I have to follow. There's other standards that I have to follow, like in addition to what I'm already held to as a normal real estate agent. So it just kind of gives me a leg up, a little advantage being a realtor. And I also like saying realtor instead of real estate agent. I just think I sound more legit, and I do.
No, yeah, because I was going to be like, okay, like maybe I shouldn't interchange them because maybe they're completely different things. And,
they're not
I didn't want to like disrespect. No, yeah.
I mean,
but
for
you're
me,
both, though. You're both.
I'm both. So like, it wouldn't affect me and it wouldn't bother me, but some people like might take it a little more serious than I do. Like, I don't care. Call me a real estate agent. I am. Call me a realtor. I am. But you should not call every single real estate agent a realtor because they might not be.
Yeah.
And not that they would be offended. Like, they'd probably be like, ooh, you think I'm a realtor? Like, okay. But they're not. So.
Wait, so now when you were interviewing for companies and you said you chose the one that you wanted to work for at the time, now how does that work? So you, of course, you get a salary. Now, do you also have to negotiate for
no.
like how much commission? Oh, no? It's all purely
There's
commission?
no salary. Sorry,
Really?
I didn't even. Yeah, you don't get paid as a realtor or real estate agent unless you sell a house or rent a house.
So it's 100% commission?
Yes. But so like I was saying, you find out about the commission splits. So obviously in order to work or not work, but like to have your license hung at a brokerage, they're going to take a portion of your commission. Most places. So the place that I worked at or the brokerage I was with first, my commission split was 70-30. So I got 70%, they got 30% until I gave them $24,000 basically. So it was basically a debt that I owed them, and it was $24,000 every single year on my anniversary date. So February 19th of 2020 started my 1 year. And if I didn't sell $24,000 like of their commission, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So it ends up being like $2.7 million in house sales. So if I sold a $3 million home, I would immediately cap. And so what that means is once you hit that minimum threshold that they need you to pay them, you get 100% commission. So some brokerages don't do that. Some offer 100% commission from the start, but those brokerages usually don't have as much training and you're kind of like on your own. Because I did interview a brokerage that was 100% commission and I thought about it, but I just didn't think that I would have the help that I needed.
Yeah.
So I picked the brokerage that was 70%, 30% until I paid $24,000. And so now the brokerage I'm at is 80-20. So I get 80%, they get 20% until I pay them $16,000. So it's an extra $8,000 in my pocket, plus an extra 10%.
So now as a realtor, So as like a realtor or real estate agent, are you like completely independent, or do you kind of have to like, do you have like bosses per se?
So if for like the brokerage I'm at now, I'm completely independent, but you're also technically you're an independent contractor no matter what, like no matter where you are, if you're a real estate agent and you have your license hung somewhere. So you're a 1099 employee, which means you don't pay taxes. And like I owe taxes at the end of the year, obviously. And I don't have a boss that tells me what to do. No one forces me to come to meetings or at my old brokerage to go into our office. So that's a good thing. Like you just kind of do what you want. You make your own schedule. And I totally lost my train of thought because I just kept going on and on and on.
All right, let me ask you another question. Okay, so
sure.
Okay, now you got your job, you got your license, you got your job. Now you sit down in your first day of work. Now describe that, like, what's the next step? How do you find like your first client? I feel like that's a really like intimidating process because you have all this debt. Of course, you don't have to like you don't have any bosses, but you kind of have to give yourself that extra added push, motivate yourself to like, okay, I got to pay this debt. I have this job now. I did all this training. Now it's time to put in that work. Now, how do you go from training to execution?
So most brokerages, like the big names, Keller Williams, Century 21, William Ravis, Remax, all those big ones usually offer like a training program for new agents. So they'll teach you, you know, how to contact your like circle of people that you know, every single person you've ever met in your whole life, like you're supposed to reach out to them. And they teach you how to like just very basic practices of real estate. So I took a 6-week course at my old brokerage, that basically like it was like 8 hours every single Friday for 6 weeks. And they basically like taught us the basics of real estate and getting started and running your own business. And it's really hard, I'm not gonna lie, like to do lead generation and to figure out like, especially for me, like being that I'm not from Dallas, I have a couple of friends here through my boyfriend and like through It Works, but like I didn't grow up here. I don't know the whole town of the whole city of Dallas, you know what I mean? Whereas like in Connecticut, man, I would be selling houses left and right because I know everybody. But so it's really hard. It's intimidating to get started and to figure out how to generate your own leads. And a lot of brokerages don't actually give you leads. I'm sorry, I totally lost your question. Just like how did I generate leads?
Yeah, how did you get your first client? Let's put it that way.
Well, I was my first client. We were moving, we needed a new rental, so I was the agent.
So
so
0% commission on that.
What?
No commission on that one though. All right.
It was actually 100%. So it worked out. But my actual first client, they were from TikTok because, okay, so just my like crazy life, I got my real estate license 2 weeks later. The whole city of Dallas is shut down. So I couldn't go into my office. I couldn't speak. I mean, I could talk to my manager and my broker, but like they couldn't really help me. I couldn't go door knock or do whatever the hell else they wanted me to do. So I went to what I know best, and that's social media. And so I started touring with TikTok, and I had a video blow up. It has like 2 million views. And so I just started providing valuable content on TikTok, and I think I sent out like 30 referrals in like a 30-day span. I would send like 6 referrals out a day. It was like, some days were insane. And then I just like, if you know anything about TikTok, like the videos kind of start in your area and then they kind of grow based on how well they do. So a lot of my videos are seen by people in Dallas and Fort Worth and just my surrounding areas. So I have a ton of clients from TikTok. So my first actual client, it was a rental client. They were moving from Houston to Dallas, and I totally dropped the ball with these people, but she still wanted to use me. I totally forgot about them. Like, I don't know how, but sometimes you forget to write stuff down. Whatever, it happened. So one day she texted me and she was like, hey, did you ever send me those houses or something? And I was like, holy shit, it was like 2 weeks ago. Wow. And so I apologized, and it obviously all worked out. So they came to Dallas. I showed them houses Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. They signed a lease. They applied like the whole process, signed a lease Friday, and they moved in Saturday. So it was the fastest like thing ever. But that was my first deal. It was from TikTok. And then, so that was awesome. And then my new brokerage actually gives us leads. I shouldn't say gives us leads because that's kind of misleading. So I'm with EXP now, and it's a virtual brokerage. So we don't have offices or anything. It's not like, you know, all the other real estate brokerages where you have an office and you pay desk dues and blah, 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 blah. No, we don't have that crap. So we, EXP like works with this company. It's called OpCity, and they're owned by Realtor.com. So basically how it works is, say you're looking to buy a home, you know, you go on Realtor.com, you punch in your information because you're like, wow, I really love this house. You're going to get a phone call from OpCity, and this person's going to be like, hey, are you interested in this house? What are you looking for? What's your budget? When do you need to move? Blah, 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 blah. Then I get a notification on my phone saying, there's a lead in your area. They're looking to rent in this or buy, whatever their, you know, scenario is. This is their budget. Do you want this lead? Yes or no? And then if I say yes, and it says I win, because you're essentially like bidding on it, kind of, in a way. Because it gets sent to me and then it'll get sent to another agent like 3 seconds later if I don't respond fast enough. So if I respond fast enough and I claim it, I get a phone call from the company and they're like, hey, this is so-and-so from Op City. I have so-and-so on the line. They're interested in this property. They have to move in the next 2 weeks or whatever it is. This is their budget. Is this a client you can help? And then I say yes or no. If I say yes, they say, okay, I'm going to connect you. And they connect the call. And then I have a new client. And the good thing is that Op City is free up front, so I don't pay anything out of my pocket, which is really nice for new agents because we don't all have like thousands of dollars to put into lead generating.
Mm-hmm.
So it's free until you close, and then they take 35% of your commission, which for me, I'm still getting 65% of my 80%.
Mm-hmm.
Because then I get 80%. So out of all of that, it's just money that I wouldn't have had if I didn't have that lead. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's what EXP does to give us leads, which I think it's great for new agents. Like I've closed, I think 3 or 4 Op City deals. And I have a bunch more like in the works. And then those lead to other referrals. Like it's just more people that you get to know, more people in your CRM and blah, blah, blah. So they also offer like another lead thing that you can pay monthly for. It's like, I don't know, it starts at $250 a month and then you can pay more, blah, blah, blah. And that gives you leads so that it's a little easier to like generate your own leads, I guess, if you have those.
Yeah. So the most difficult thing is generating leads because there's so many real estate agents. And like you said, if you don't hit yes in those 3 seconds, it's going to be passed on to someone else. And not only that, you have the tools put forth by your company. You know, if you're just a new realtor, a new real estate agent, and you have, you know, you don't have the best tools, it's going to be really hard finding those leads. And even if you do find them, it might be taken up by someone else, right?
Right. I mean, it's not, I can't like get my words out. I'm not concerned with like other agents and like whatnot, because like as soon as I get a client, if I find out if they've ever worked with another agent and if they've signed any agreements, because if they've talked to 12 agents but they haven't signed anything, I'm making them sign something so that they're my freaking client. Because you don't, obviously you want to be protected. You can't waste your time just showing all these houses to people who are not going to, you know, buy with you or sell a house with you or rent with you. You know what I mean? But that's also, I think one of your other questions, I don't know. Were you asking if other real estate agents are a competition or if it's saturated or something?
Oh yeah. One of the questions is like, how do you kind of like, I feel like there's so many real estate agents, especially if you live in a metropolitan area. Now, like, how do you get those leads? How do you kind of get clients? Because there's so much competition in general.
So obviously all my leads are coming from like Op City or my lead generators that I use. And then just to ensure that they're, like I said, like I literally make them sign an agreement so that they can't go work with another agent for at least 6 months. So, oopsie. But that I have to protect myself. Like if I want to be a successful agent, like that's what I have to do. But I don't really think there's ever like too many real estate agents. Because there's always going to be people who need to buy their house, sell their house. People need somewhere to live. There's always going to be renters. And sometimes like an agent is not a good fit for a client. Like I've had clients that I drop and because I can't work with them because it's just, they're either they're too demanding or what they're looking for like doesn't line up with what we have in the market, or I just don't have time to give them like my best service. So I drop people because it's just not a good fit. And so there has to be a million other agents, someone else who's a good fit for them. I don't think you should work with people who like aren't a good fit for you, obviously. And so, yeah, I think the more agents, the better. I don't think it's like a bad thing that there's a lot of agents. I don't see agents as like my competition. I see them as people that I work with, because eventually like I'm going to work with a ton of agents. Like I have so many different random phone numbers in my phone that I text every single day. Like, hey, I want to show your property. Like, can you confirm this? Or, hey, I have a question about your property. You know, my client's wondering X, Y, Z. So like always just try to, I don't know, keep it on a positive note with agents.
Yeah.
I don't
So there's always work, you know, there's not like, you know, it's not like you're scrambling for, like you said, you have a lot of referrals. Once you get one, it's kind of like a snowball effect, right? Now, how do you kind of like you said you had,
Yeah.
you used TikTok and you had like 30 referrals. Now, is TikTok another huge like strategy you have to finding and getting clients?
Yes and no. I've just found that like the people who are on TikTok are really not my ideal clients necessarily. Like, yeah, they're great, and I would love to help so many people from TikTok, but it's a lot of like younger people or just like people who aren't ready to buy a house. And of course, I'm educating them and getting them started, but they're not people who have their credit, you know, they're not at a 750 credit score. They don't have 20% to put down, even though you can buy a house without putting 20% down. Like, sometimes it's just a little riskier to have clients who are just really not prepared. And that's kind of what I get on TikTok is renters, first-time home buyers who are just not ready at all. And as much as like I'd love to educate those people, are they necessarily the people I want to work with? I don't know. I'm still kind of learning like who I want to work with.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to sell $1 million homes. Like, that's the goal, you know, makes the most money. So, that's just kind of hard to get those clients though for me right now.
Yeah.
Now,
Now, how do like commissions work? Like, say there's a house with the market value, and of course someone gives you like a budget. Now, of course, obviously the buyer wants to buy it for the lowest cost like possible. Now, how do like commissions work? Like, is there a fixed percentage of the commission that you get, or what does it depend on?
So, buyers they should never pay commission. The only like person who pays commission is the seller. So the seller will set their commission with the listing agent, which here it's 6%. In Connecticut. Even, I mean, back when I lived there and when I was working in real estate, it was still 6% in New York and Connecticut. It just kind of depends. Like, commission is technically negotiable, like whatever. But here, a lot of the commission that I see is 3% or 6%, and then it's split between the two agents. So the buyer goes and we bid. Let's say I'm working with the buyer. So we find a house, it's $300,000. They bid on it, they win. So my commission, I get paid from the listing agent who gets their commission from the seller. So the seller pays 6% of the closing of the purchase price. So let's say it was $300,000. The seller pays out 6%. So I don't know how to do math, so I'm going to do it on my calculator. Let's see. 300,000 times 6%. So $18,000. That is that right?
Yeah. So then that's split between the real estate agent that's selling the home and the one that's buying, right? So both parties. Yeah.
Yeah. So it would be the listing agent and the buyer's agent. So say that was my client who bought that house, I would get 9,000 and the other agent would get 9,000. And then out of that 9,000 comes my commission split. So out of $9,000, I would get 80%. So I'd get 7,200.
Oh, wow.
And my brokerage would get the other 2,300 or 2,800. Sorry, I can't do math. No, 1,800. Sorry.
So basically, there's a pie, and it's being split between you, the other real estate agent, and the real estate or brokerage that you're working for.
Both the brokerages, yeah.
Both. Okay.
So like whatever their commission split is, I don't know. That's not my problem.
Yeah.
My commission split is my problem. So, yeah, it's basically I get a cut. And then my broker gets a cut. Everybody gets a little slice.
Yeah.
But as a buyer, you should never technically pay commissions. I mean, at the end of the day, if a buyer is paying closing costs, like they're kind of paying commission, like because the money's all going to the seller and then the seller is paying it back, like just kind of like a transfer of money. So technically, though, my clients as a buyer's agent, they will never pay me out of their pocket. I will never say, you owe me $9,000. Never.
So like, what's like the day in the life of like a real estate agent, a realtor? Now you have the tools that help you find the leads. If you're not using those tools, you have to find the leads yourself. Maybe like social media, Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace. I don't know. Now, once you find the client, once you find like the client, now what are like the logistics behind it? Like what's all the paperwork? Like what do you have to do exactly?
So the first thing that I try to do, so like today I got a new client and they're looking for a rental, up to like $4,000, blah, blah, blah. So I hop on the phone with them. I find out everything that they're interested in, like, how many bedrooms, bathrooms, where they want to live, when they have to move, the whole bit, get the scoop. And then I always go on the MLS and I find houses that fit their criteria. So I pretty much just go through and say, okay, does this house fit? Yes or no. If it's yes, I'll check it off. And then once I have the whole list of all the houses they might be interested in, I send it to them. I tell them, okay, I just sent you an email with all these listings. Let me know what you like and if you want to go see any. And then depending on the client, like some people are more like laid back and some people are like, no, I have to go see it right now. So my schedule kind of changes like day to day, depending on like if I have a client. So if it's someone who wants to see it that day, I usually keep my schedule open in that case. So then I'll schedule the appointments. I'll go to see them. I'll print stuff out for them. Like I give them the information about brokerage services and a buyer rep agreement so that they have those documents. And then with renters, it's a little different. I don't make them sign anything until they're about to apply to a lease, because renters, like, it's fine. Like, it's not the end of the world if I drive 15 minutes and then they don't end up renting with me. Like, I didn't really lose anything. I got to look through a house. But buyers, I usually will not show houses to them. Like, maybe I'll show them 1 or 2 houses, and then depending on like how serious they are, then I'll make them sign an agreement. And then I just kind of go, like, kind of depends on all the clients. Like if they want to see more houses, I'll send them more. If they want to put an offer in or apply to be the tenant, then I'll go through that paperwork. So it just it depends on what's going on.
And you don't have to work with any mortgages, right? Or what?
Like I work with a mortgage lender, and she deals with everything. So anything mortgage related, I send my clients right to my lender.
Okay.
Yeah, so I don't deal with any of that. Like I just find out their credit score, if they have money for a down payment, and then based on like those 2 answers, I send them to either my mortgage lender or my credit repair guy.
So
and if their
now,
credit
like,
is fine, but they don't have money saved, I try to.
Yeah. So like that's why it's important to like hire a realtor or real estate agent, because like I feel like it's like a logistical nightmare, not only like finding a home, but literally just all the paperwork, right, that goes with it.
Yeah. I mean, and also like a realtor can help like give recommendations for an inspector and a mortgage lender. Like everyone says get pre-approved and then find a realtor, but in my eyes, I think everybody should find a realtor and ask their realtor for recommendations on lenders, because like I am partnered with a lender who I work with, who I send all my clients to because I really like her and blah, blah, blah. And like, we're close, this and that. And like other agents have other lenders that they like to use, and you just have your preferred partners. So I think you get the best local options by finding a realtor in your area, because they know who to send you to. So yeah.
So like for any new like person who wants to go into real estate, become a realtor, become a real estate agent, like what are like key pieces of advice? Like what golden nuggets would you kind of like tell them so that their careers can kind of, I don't know, develop much faster?
Yeah. I actually get this question a lot, like from people on social media. Like they just ask me like, hey, blah, blah, blah. Definitely don't be afraid of rejection. Like, I mean, it's kind of a little different though. Like for me, because calling, I still text people, and like half the time people don't answer me. So like that doesn't bother me. But like if it's other people, just don't get upset if someone doesn't answer you. They're just probably, maybe it's not a good time and they're embarrassed to say they can't afford to buy a house right now. You know what I mean? Like we don't know what's going on in other people's lives. But honestly, just like my biggest thing is tell every single person that you ever come in contact to or you've ever met that you're a realtor. And if they're interested in buying, selling, renting, or if they know someone who's looking to buy, sell, or rent, that you're their person to go to. You just want to make sure every single person thinks of you as the realtor. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So start with your local bubble, basically.
Yeah. Start in your bubble and just make sure that everybody, like, when they think of when someone says, oh, hey, I'm looking to sell my house, that like your best friend says, oh, my best friend's a realtor. Like, here, let me give you her card. Or, you know what I mean? Like something like that. Like, I want every single one of my friends in Dallas and every single one of their friends and so on and so forth to know me as their agent. Even if I've never even met them. They're like, oh, my friend's friend has this realtor who's really great.
Yeah.
You just have to get your name out there.
And so now most of it is like, you think it's purely like referral. So once you have like your first 3, 4, 5 clients, now like at that point, like the ball starts rolling,
Yeah.
right?
And like, sorry, my eyes really itchy.
Allergies?
Yeah. Oh God, it's really bad right now. I remember in my class at my other brokerage when it was like the training course, 1 week we were going over our like sphere of influence and referrals, and he actually gave a real life example, and he was like this, forget the exact example, but basically one of his people that he met through something or other ended up using him to buy a house. Then that turned into two referral clients. One ended up buying, one ended up not really buying like at that time. And then that second person turned into like 1 million more people. And this one eventually ended up buying and then referred. It's just like a big network, big web of referrals. And I know a lot of agents actually who don't take on new clients. They only do referrals. Like they're so busy with just referrals.
So damn, I feel like if you have like a good referral system, then you don't really have to like worry about, using other tools to find clients. If you have people just coming in, then that's just beautiful.
And if like you can trust your referral sources, like the people sending you the referrals, like that they're going to be like qualified people who like are ready to buy and not just like waste your time and bullshit, like then it's fine. But like for me right now, like I don't know that I necessarily trust all of my referral basis, just because I've only had renters and you only work with renters for so long. So just a little different.
Yeah. So then now like just like one more question out of curiosity. So do you see a lot of people like moving into Dallas compared to people like leaving it? Is it like a city that where like it's really growing, a lot more people are moving in and whatnot?
Well, like I would say because the city, like nobody really wants to live in the city, any city right now because of everything that's like happening. But just DFW in general, like the entire Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex is growing like rapidly. I don't know the exact rate of people that like move to Dallas every day, but I know like one of the fastest growing areas in the country because everybody's leaving California and New York and Atlanta and all these huge metropolitan areas, and they want to come to Dallas because it's cheaper, it's hot, it's nice, it's high end, it's just amazing. That is all.
Now like just like wrap things up. I don't want to take too much of your time. So where can people find you? Like what social media platforms do you use? And if people from like say like I don't know, Connecticut, Dallas, if you ever want to buy a home, where can they find you?
So my website is actually dfwrealtordanny.com. My Instagram is first Danielle _Mignone. That's pretty much all my social media, TikTok. I actually do have 3 Instagram accounts, but follow the one that has the most followers because that's the one that I use. LinkedIn, just Danielle Mignone. What else? I feel like that's really it. If people want to call me, they can. My number is posted on all my websites, my social media. My phone number is literally everywhere. But yeah, Instagram. I get so many DMs like every day. Then people are like, "Hey, I need help buying, and I'm in Iowa." Actually, a girl just messaged me and she said I'm in Iowa. So that's where that came from. But yeah, I'm very reachable.
And you still work for It Works, right? So you have 2 jobs still, right?
Yep. So It Works is pretty much my main stream of income, and real estate is just kind of in here and there.
Yeah, and it's cool that you can like you have your own schedule because you know you can work like you don't have any bosses per se for like real estate especially.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, even it works. Nobody tells me what to do. I do whatever the heck I want. So yeah, it's a pretty good life.
Definitely. It's always good to have like multiple streams of income. If one goes bad, then you can always fall back to the other and then find another side hustle.
Yep.
So yeah,
absolutely.
Danielle, I really appreciate you having you on the show. It was kind of crazy that that you're from Connecticut as well, Fairfield County.
So I'm like blown away that you live in Stanford. I can't.
Yeah.
What? I lived there.
Yeah, because I saw like on Instagram it said Connecticut to Dallas, and I was like, okay, Connecticut. I mean, it's not the biggest state, but like it can be anywhere else. But the fact that you're like within Stanford, it's kind of cool.
So weird. Wait.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, random. Where in Stanford do you live?
Okay. Do you know where like Dolan Middle School is, or like basically Hope Street, or let's see, like basically there.
Okay.
Yeah. Next to Stanford High. It's like a 5-minute drive from Stanford High.
Okay, I lived right across the street from Stanford High.
Oh, wow.
In the little townhouses.
I used to live right across, not across, but right next to Stanford High. Those brick apartment buildings, the twin buildings.
Oh yeah.
On the 11th floor, I used to live there. I think I moved out like 2005.
Yeah, I mean, I literally like 2 years ago, I was living at 48 Strawberry Hill Avenue.
Oh, Strawberry Hill,
Number 10.
That's crazy. Such a small world.
So weird. I mean, I'm sure we know probably some of the same people somewhere down the line.
Yeah.
But
who knows? We probably passed by each other like randomly one day. I don't know. Probably.
Like gone to the same restaurant.
Probably.
Like Cafe Sylvium, freaking best.
Well, I actually
My
never been
favorite.
to that. You said what's it called?
Cafe Sylvium. It's
that?
down, you know where ShopRite is, like kind of on your way to the water. I forget.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. By West Beach. Yes.
It's like you go past ShopRite on your left in that like big church. It's gonna be like on your right. It like looks sketchy, but it is so freaking good. The best Italian food on the East Coast, all over.
Oh wait, you said it's a pizzeria?
No, it's an Italian restaurant.
Oh, okay. Okay, I think I know what you're talking about then. I think is it next to Subway, if you recall?
Is that near Viva?
I think so. Right next to the Sunny Days, like the ice cream shop.
Oh yeah. It's literally like right next to Sunny Days.
Okay, I think I've been there like once or twice then. I just forgot the name then.
Door, but
no, yeah. Close. Okay, so I think I've been there then.
It's always really busy and like there's people always reading. So good.
Okay, yeah. So I think I've been there then. I just forgot the name then.
It's amazing. My favorite.
So yeah, then. I really appreciate your time here, and I'll definitely I'll notify you. I'll notify you once the podcast's uploaded and whatnot. All right.
Okay, you're gonna have a lot of editing to do. So I'm really sorry.
No, it's cool. It was like a little laggy, but I think the audio is good. It's just like the clips is gonna be a bit weird, but it's fine. All right.
Okay. Sorry, I feel like I was just like all over the map.
No, it was perfect. I know you said in the beginning that you're gonna be all over the map, and I'm totally fine with it.
I am. I'm a psycho. Sorry.
It's cool. All right, Danielle.
Well, thank you so much. You too.
Take care.
Bye.